This episode of the Bad Crypto Podcast is brought to you by eToro. The best way to be smart about trading crypto is to use the smartest trading platform. And you can get $25 in free Bitcoin from Bad Crypto when you go to badco.in/eToro and follow the easy instructions. That's badco.in/eToro. One of the keys to mainstream adoption of crypto is proof of real-world blockchain use cases. It would be an understatement to say that there's some stuff happening in the space. There's a lot happening. And on today's episode, we welcome Matt Harding of Zage.io to the show. He and his team have compiled a 255-page report with insights from 102 blockchain leaders sharing current blockchain applications and what the future looks like. So shine up your crystal ball and pop a couple of Mentos and a liter of Diet Coke because it's about to get all explosive up in here. Welcome to episode number 303 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
Do-do-do-do-wah. It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better with live. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you, staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Mentos, the fresh maker.
Yes, the Bad Crypto Podcast where we inspire commercial jingles.
I guess now we got to add that to the Spotify list.
I suppose you think that's there? The Mentos jingle?
The Mentos jingle, I bet it is.
Yeah, for those who don't know what Travis is referencing, we did set up a Spotify playlist for all songs that are referenced on this show, whether sung as Travis just did, even very nicely, I might add, or whether we just reference the lyrics on it. And if you go to badco.in/playlist, you can enjoy that listening for all the times that you're not listening to this podcast.
That's true. And if this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to hit the subscribe button up there. iTunes likes that. So does Mr. Joel Combs' mom. She's a big fan of people subscribing to her baby's show. And it's a good way to stay in tune with what's going on. I
want to know what took you so long. Like what? If you're just now listening to the show for the first time.
Well, you know what? The iTunes algorithm sometimes moves things around. So maybe they didn't see us until now.
I did look for Mentos on Spotify, by the way, and the first thing that comes up is a guy named Pablo Francisco.
Yes, he's hilarious. Oh, my God.
Is he? He has a segment called Mentos, which maybe we'll just add that in reference to it, and the title of the album is Knee to the Groin.
No, he is so funny. Okay. He does the best impressions you've ever heard.
I'm going to listen.
Hysterical.
And if this Mentos is if he actually talks about Mentos, as I suspect he will, I will add that to the playlist.
Okay.
Let's give how about a shout out to our sponsor for which this show was made possible today, Mr. Travis Wright.
For sure. eToro. For a lot of crypto fans, it's hard to find just one place where you can trade, plan, and actually even discuss strategy all in one place. But Europe has had a platform since, 2007 for this thing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They've been doing this for a while.
For like charting and stuff. We actually, we're going to talk about that more in depth on the next episode because the CEO and founder, Yoni Asia, is going to be on the show.
Very good. Yeah, eToro is the world's #1 social trading platform. So you get to trade with your homies, which is pretty cool. And not only that, but it gives you access to, I believe, 15 crypto assets that are on the market. And it also has some virtual trading. So you can actually get $100,000 worth of fake money. And you can actually test your trading strategy with a community of over 11 million other traders. And they are now in the US of A. eToro offers very smart trading tools and the ability to connect with the best traders out there. You can even actually copy the best traders' portfolio and mimic what they're doing. So their trading fees are transparent, very low, and easy to use in one app. And by signing up with badco.in/eToro, and if you deposit $50 and buy some crypto, we will send you a pair of Bad Coin socks. Doesn't get any better than that. Badco.in/eToro.
Super easy to do, and we are following up. We're getting emails from you guys, and the first batch of socks have gone out. If you haven't done this yet, we are running lower on socks, so you need to go and do this now. I mean, you're going to spend $50 on crypto somewhere. They're not going to give you bad coin socks, so just go ahead and do that. Also, thanks to nasgo.com. They are the GoDaddy of the blockchain. You want to tokenize your business. You don't know how to code. That sounds like me. I want to tokenize my business. I don't know how to code. There's all these blockchains. It's super confusing. Where do I start? Nasgo.com. All the solutions for your business to get into the blockchain frontier. They've got an easy to use Nasgo wallet. All the tools are in there, and it doesn't cost a fortune. In fact, it's really, really on the budget to do this. So if you want to tokenize stuff for your business, don't wait. Go check it out right now. Nasgo.com.
You know what else we should do, Mr. Joel? We should go to our feature today with Matt Harding, head of blockchain marketing for DOGE.
Here comes the data all up in your face. I don't know how to stop this. I'll just get into it. This just in, breaking news, a new 255-page report on the real-world applications of blockchain technology has just hit the web. And you guys probably didn't even know about it, but now you're going to. It is a really interesting read, and we have with us today Matt Harding. He is the head of blockchain marketing at DOGE. Matt is a full-stack marketing leader. He's gained decades of practical experience working with SaaS and tech clients, and now he's in the blockchain industry. He is their marketing dude, and he made us aware of this report that they've put out that features insights from 102 blockchain leaders. We're going to talk with Matt about it today. You're going to want to download the report. Matt, welcome to the pit of despair known as bad crypto.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. It's like I said before, I'm a longtime listener, so this is fun. Yeah, so we did a pretty big report. A lot of I hope a lot of interesting insights in there. I hope you guys are going to check it out and kind of.
Yeah, I like how you had 102 blockchain leaders, but neither one was Joel Comm or Travis Wright.
You know, we can correct that. We can correct that in version 2.0. I think this is one of those things where we're going to do this, you know, at least every year. We were kind of hoping for more of a kind of bi-yearly thing, but now we're thinking, you know, it was a lot of work went into this. So,
well, you know, here's the problem. We'd have to be leaders for that to, you know, be legit. And we are not leaders. We are the crypto clowns. And so if you have 102 leaders and 2 bozos, then that would be the appropriate.
I think everything needs a jester. You know, we all need that jester in the room.
You have the list of clown tributers.
We'll get you in there.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Matt, why don't you give us a quick little Reader's Digest background of what you did before blockchain and what drew you to it, and how pumped are you now?
Sure. Yeah, I was a marketer. I was doing a lot of kind of random projects. We did everything from, you know, kind of business planning all the way to SaaS, enterprise SaaS, all kinds of medical technology. I did some marketing for tuna companies. You know, I was kind of all over the board. And then in 2017, you know, some of my bonehead friends and I were talking about crypto, and, you know, we all made some non-lucrative investments, and, you know, and that I kind of got involved with this company that's kind of based in Australia, actually. And now we've got this decentralized marketing team just focusing on blockchain.
So this bad boy right here, yeah, that's great. This bad boy is 255 pages long. That's like a book. Did you guys decide to? Are you guys printing it out? Because I mean, just the nature of this and the hard work that you guys put behind this. I mean, talking about real world applications of blockchain technology, like you could almost sell this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty massive. And it was a lot. You know, you'd think that it would be less work than it was, being basically getting contributors to do most of the work, right? And because we're out there asking questions to, you know, hundreds of people and, you know, seeing what we get back. But the number of hours that went into editing and analysis and design and all this stuff, it's like, it ends up being quite the show. And, you know, hundreds of hours on our end for the, you know, maybe, you know, hour or so given into the responses, if that, so it was a big labor.
Okay, so let's jump into the findings of the report. Give us the meat here. What are some of the biggest things that you were able to identify?
Yeah, so I think the three big takeaways were that I think 41% of contributors said that UX and a seamless experience would pave the way to mass adoption. So it's more that a lot of them seem to think that the blockchain needs to be kind of invisible in a way to get to this mass adoption point. And that it's really, there's some poor UX out there right now. Just the general user experience of blockchain applications and stuff is just not there yet. They've got a long way to go. I think it was UD Levy of Bancor. I don't know if he's been on your show, but he's basically said that in the future, they won't think of crypto as an investment. They'll think of it as, just a product or service. And they won't really care what's going on underneath. And it's a good point. Blockchain brings a lot of benefits, but they're really product benefits. And a lot of that's going to change. It's not going to be this blockchain centric hype. It's going to be, that's just another benefit, and we're going to come to expect it. Good products, with clear benefits will pave the way.
Now, I actually had a conversation the other day with a VC who is in San Francisco, and I was making the comment about how, a lot of these blockchain projects are leaving America, and the VC said that about 70 to 80% of all new startups that are happening in San Francisco seem to be blockchain related, and then they get to a point and then they move.
Yeah.
So they're being built in San Francisco and then being moved to other parts of the world. Now, is that something that you had experienced in your research? Did you find anything about innovation and where these blockchain thought leaders are congregating currently?
Yeah, and is it because too many people are crapping on their front porch? Is that
I think that may have a lot to do with it. They're like born and conceived here, then go elsewhere. I think there's a lot going on in Ukraine. But we didn't really ask the question, where is this happening? I mean, we do kind of list where everybody is, but it's not, we didn't really pick a consensus of where things are happening. You can see, you can look and you can tell a lot of this stuff is just getting much more kind of groundwork done in Europe and Ukraine and some less regulated areas, right? And I think that's one of the things that kind of we came away with this too, is there is this kind of like want for regulation that I thought was interesting, like that they felt that it needed some regulation, that the whole industry needed some regulation from kind of the top down. And I thought that was kind of interesting because when I kind of entered it, that was kind of antithetical to what blockchain and crypto was all about. It's privacy and, all that. But bringing regulators in to give it kind of their stamp of approval was kind of something they thought was necessary. And I kind of get it. There's probably a lot of money waiting in the wings, a lot of capital, like waiting for that, that kind of stamp to come down so they can say, okay, now we can come in with some big dollars. But not that there isn't big dollars flowing there already, but I think a lot of that is waiting on the regulation, whether that's going to happen or not.
Yeah. So what is, the buzz that you've picked up on that? When are we going to see regulation?
I don't think anybody's really willing to weigh on that one. We didn't get that in our responses. There was just kind of like, it could happen and it could be helpful. But we didn't really poll that. We didn't really find that to be something that, that we wanted to ask, for one thing. And that, maybe that it starts asking like, predict the future kind of thing, like I don't know. It just didn't come up.
So we know the financial industry is being sort of rebooted with blockchain and crypto, but say maybe give us an outlook over the next 3 to 5 years. Like what are you seeing some other top industries that are most ripe for disruption with blockchain?
Well, a lot. 56% I think said that financial services was the biggest opportunity, but there was a lot in healthcare, supply chain, and gaming. Gaming came up quite a bit. There was a couple of really interesting comments. Isaiah Yoon from, I believe it's Lunar Digital Currencies, He was saying, it was this idea of digital currencies started in gaming. It's been around there for 20 years almost. If you played World of Warcraft or any of those games, like there's digital currency.
Oh, don't get Joel started. Don't get Joel started.
Oh, I got started at World of Warcraft in 2004, so it's too late.
There you go. So like you were there on inception,
Yep.
right? Yeah. So that I thought was interesting because that's a community that's already used to it, and they've been doing it for 20 years. So it just seems like that's the logical. That might be the place where mass adoption occurs first.
Actually, we had William Quigley from Wax on the show not too long ago, and they've got a huge marketplace of digital goods for games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there was a lot of there's a lot of games. There's some games being developed entirely on the blockchain, and that was I think one contributor wrote about that. But that's the easy in, right? I mean, these are the people that are already used to it, all that. But that wasn't it. It's the idea that healthcare, I mean, that there's something that needs a lot of change. It could benefit from saving lives and all that kind of stuff is pretty attractive. I think one of the contributors, I think he was on his show, Andreas Kaltheis, he wrote that like business is great, but saving lives is better, and that's that's a good point. And then there was some call to kind of look at restricted industries like marijuana, the adult entertainment industry, because those industries struggle with access to traditional financial services. I don't know where you guys are, where your legality is in your region, but here in California, it's everything's cash business, and you can't put cash in a bank, and so crypto and blockchain solutions like.
Yeah, you have weed in these buildings and lots of money, and they wonder why they get robbed.
Yep. Yeah. And so, we talked to a lot of people about that, but that particular problem is pretty good, and crypto does solve it. But then again, it does, kind of travel on the internet tubes. So you've got that problem, and I think that's a big reason why the Feds kind of came down on putting your money in local banks, because anytime there's a transaction or, money going into a bank, it does travel around through all these little wires, and they call that, breaching federal jurisdiction because they go across state lines. So I don't know. I mean, it certainly is interesting, but, definitely financial services.
Yeah. And you said gaming. One thing I read this recently, that the World of Warcraft money, I don't know what's the World of Warcraft money called, Mr. Jolcom?
It's gold.
It's gold. The World of Warcraft gold is 7 times more valuable than the Venezuelan bolivar.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's true, and it's got its own economy, and it's pretty fascinating stuff. So there's a lot of opinions in this paper that you guys have released. I want to know what surprised you. Who are the outliers that said something that perhaps was a little more away from mainstream, more radical?
I think there was a certain amount that said that the big adoption would come from developing economies, and I don't know that that's a surprise so much as it is like there's a huge need.
You mean like
there.
the banking the unbanked?
Banking the unbanked. I mean, there's
1.7
billion unbanked, right? So, and underbanked too. Underbanked being just people who don't have access to a lot of banks. And you're thinking about that in terms of Africa and India. There's a ton of opportunity there. I mean, like, look what they did, what happened in Africa with mobile phones. I mean, they didn't need the infrastructure, that for regular telephone lines and that kind of stuff. They just went right to mobile. So maybe they could skip large-scale banking too and save themselves even.
See, here I was thinking underbanked meant there wasn't enough money in my bank. Well,
that's our problem. That's different.
First world problems.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Unfortunately,
what are you drinking there, Matt? I hear you
Oh, that was just a little bit of Jim Beam. Okay, not a big deal. Yeah.
Well, Joe Rogan gets stoned with people on his show, so I suppose if people want to bust out,
Yeah, well, we need to start a tradition here where you fire up a bourbon or something like that.
You said you're in California, so it's 10 a.m. You may have a problem.
I might actually. It is water. I hate the bride. I lied. It's just water.
Alexa, what's Matt drinking? Yeah.
Yeah, right. But looking at like India, that came up a few times too. But unfortunately, since we did this, I believe India banned cryptocurrencies, so it's no more opportunity there. You
can't you can't eat meat, so we're all going to starve, and the cows are going to eat all of the greenery, so there's a food shortage, and you can't use crypto. So
yeah, fun place, right? Yeah. Let me see some others. I'm just trying to think of some interesting ones. Yes, Stellian Balta of Hyperchain Capital, pretty big name in the industry, but he mentioned how fast he said how fast paced the industry was. Like, that was great. And I think that's true to a degree, right? There's also a part of that where it's evolving so fast and there's so many new blockchains and stuff like that you're just like, how do developers pick? At some point that's an obstacle towards moving forward. I know that first in makes a big deal too. Like if you're first in the show, you're first to create, like Ethereum was really quick to jump in and put up smart contracts. A lot of people like jumped on that development, but Bitcoin is a good example of like being first in, but not being the best tech, right? It's not the best performing cryptocurrency. Like almost everything is faster, but it's certainly regarded as the best. But the industry is moving fast, and it does kind of is reminiscent, I guess, of like the tech boom.
Bad coin's faster.
When is bad coin going to be backed by something? I think that's the only problem with bad coin. I think maybe backed by
the
stocks.
only problem. The only problem.
I think you're just
it's backed by the goodwill of the people of Bad Cryptopia. It's backed by that.
I agree. Great stuff. So what were some, so you talked about the other various different blockchains a little bit. You talked about Ethereum and the smart contracts. Yeah. What are some of the other, just the blockchains? Because that was always when the big boom happened in 2017, early 2018, it was those blockchain highways, right? That people can build upon. Yeah. So what are some of the better performing ones that you're seeing, or maybe the ones that were referenced more? Because, there's a bunch of them out there. What are some of the ones that people need to keep an eye on?
We really didn't ask that, and it wasn't something that we were really targeting in that. But, I think more there was mention of like a Lightning Network, right? Because that can potentially speed up, Bitcoin transactions. But, I think for the most part, people are still looking at Ethereum and EOS and a couple of the big other ones that kind of have the lion's share right now. We didn't see too many answers that kind of gave that the impression that people are on the hunt for always the next one. I think that was more kind of like a kind of the end of or the beginning of 2018. There was still this mad rush, and you were seeing a lot of like just crazy new blockchains that were claimed to be this faster and this and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know how many of those really got mass adoption. You kind of need to pick a platform and kind of build on it. And, the support that you get from large communities like Ethereum and others are just easier.
Pick your platform already. People, for crying out loud. Too many blockchains, so little time, so much crypto. Well, this is cool stuff, Matt. So where can people download this report for themselves and read through all the replies from the luminaries that contributed?
Yeah. Zage.io/ report.
That's easy.
ZAGE.io/report. Yeah, it's super easy. It's, again, we have hundreds of hours in this. A lot of effort from a lot of people. And we got, I think, a lot more than we hoped. I don't think we intended it to be this kind of size, but we're thinking, if we get 50, that'd be fantastic. but they just kept rolling in, and then we're going, 99 would be a good round number to stop at, and then it was like 102, and we said, okay, at some point you just got to hit print. So
excellent. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show and telling us about it, and you guys can go check it out at zage.io/report, and hopefully after being a guest on the show, you'll still listen.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm a fan, like I said. Yeah.
Awesome.
Appreciate your time.
I would say go download that, folks. That's a very valuable thing. And not only, there looks like there's a lot of women. Before we finish this, maybe, what were some of the top women luminaries that you had on the thing that we should maybe have on Bad Crypto in the future?
Well, we got Jillian Dodson, who's already been on your show.
Who else?
Yeah. And Olga Mack, she's with QuantStamp. QuantStamp. And they're it's almost like a VeriSign, but based on the blockchain. And I just really like listening to her answers. They were, she has this like very definite way of answering that I like. It was basically the blockchain solves very hard problems, right? And when it solves seemingly unsolvable problems, we'll just sort of expect that in our day-to-day life, right? So when it kind of jumps the blockade or the obstacle of solving something in our daily lives, it's really important that we really haven't solved before. Kind of like what cloud technology did for hosted applications and that kind of thing. But we'll just sort of expect this in our life, and blockchain will just kind of sit there and it'll be a part of our lives whether we like it or not. It's the inexorable tide of blockchain.
The inexorable tide of blockchain. That sounds like a good episode title right there, Mr. Travis, right?
There you go.
I don't even know what that means, but it sounds great.
Well, we will rely on it, right? This is something, it brings too many product benefits. And we're just some UX away, it seems, at least according to
Matt. No. It's all a fad. We've been told it's fad. Bitcoin is dead. This is all just.
A lot of people said that. Not in our thing, but that's kind of where I think there's a lot of kind of fear and kind of that blockchain is a threat to certain people. This idea of decentralization and privacy, that's a threat to certain industries.
Yeah, some industries don't like that privacy and like that transparency. Get that transparency out of here. We're trying to be nefarious.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this actually, I was going to finish up here, but I think you've opened up something new. And one of those concepts is that adoption is challenging because of the tech. So last night I was with our producer, Ms. Erin Sell, and she's got a Ledger Nano S. And there were several points, she's a smart woman, but there were several points along the process of getting it set up that she was like, I don't get this. Right. And she's into crypto. Right. And so the challenge is to bring, I was going to say middle America, but really the middle of the world, right? Regular people on board with this is there's some pretty tough challenges.
Yeah. And that's, one thing that kind of came up on that was, that it may take, like some major company, like the 800-pound gorillas, like Facebook and Google. It may take somebody like that that already has an enormous user base to kind of just slip in blockchain benefits, and then you've got mass adoption all of a sudden. I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about Libra, but a company that's kind of already proved itself to not really care about your privacy is getting into crypto, which is kind of odd. But they're the guys who can make huge moves and kind of do kind of mass disruption, or just going to bring this in. So we'll see. I mean, they've all got blockchain projects going. IBM and Maersk, Google and Facebook, and lots of others. Amazon. They're all building them. It's just a matter of how we're going to see them kind of in our
awesome. Okay, so life. This is our second ending. The first one was a fake ending, but we're done for real. Matt, thanks, brother.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys.
And here we are on the other side of the interview, like corn, goes in one side and it comes out the other.
It does indeed. Oftentimes completely intact, except no longer on the cob.
It's like a reverse car wash. It goes in clean. Oh, I'm so sorry. Not sorry.
Wow, it's amazing when you have the guy who invented the iFart app making fart and poop jokes. You never think you're going to get that.
Well, that's my job.
That's true.
That's why I get the big royalties, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of really great content in this report, guys, and we just advise you to go check it out. Zage.io/report. A few
beautiful
quotes.
Report too. 100 and something pages on the way. Actually,
255.
255. That's like a book, yo.
Yeah, it is like a book. Here's a few of the quotes that we pulled out of it. Tim Draper has this to say: Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. No, he didn't say that. He said, people are using blockchain in everyday life, and the blockchain is just a perfect ledger. It keeps perfect information on Bitcoin use, and it keeps perfect information on any other form of data too. It's being used to secure data for everything from medical records to certification of education. The word that jumps out to me is perfect. When have we been able to say ever in the history of tracking data that the tracking has been perfect? Never.
Yeah. And Draper goes on to say, and listen to the Bad Crypto podcast because it's a perfect podcast. It's perfect. He says it right there as the data backs that up. And hey, Jeffrey McCabe, who is the one of the founders of the Divi Project, who is also one of our sponsors, the idea of money has been heavily abused by governments and the banks that control them. They have used it as a way to make themselves rich by endlessly printing more of it for themselves, rather than creating an easy way for citizens to exchange value. Now here's crypto, which is an easy way to exchange value. Very nice.
One more, Hugo Renaudin. I'm going to imagine that that is pronounced with a French accent from
probably Ronaldin
with LGO, and I'm not sure who that is. It's like Lego without the E. It's like, give me my E, Lego my E. He says regulation is paramount as it allows companies to make structural decisions without the risk of a regulatory backlash. No regulation is worse than bad regulation, as this stifles innovation and inhibits entrepreneurs and companies. And that's something that you reference a lot as we talk about how, the U.S. is dragging their feet, and because they've made it difficult to do coin offerings and be in the crypto business, companies are moving offshore.
They are. I mean, like I was actually chatting with the senior director of the CFTC, and he said, oh, well, if you set up your Badcoin Foundation, or whoever sets that up, don't do it in America. Make sure to do it offshore somewhere. Which is crazy when you have regulatory folks in America that are looking out for America, telling you not to build your company in America because it's too hostile. That's crazy. That's crazy talk, Mr. Joe.
I think that's a good time for a Badcoin update, just so you guys know there is a team of people that have told us they are setting up a Badcoin Foundation in another country. We'll give you more information about that once it is actually done. And they have asked us to nominate people to the board. It's not our foundation. It's being set up by a separate entity. And we will be advisors to the foundation, and we will donate portions of our Badcoin supply to the foundation so that they can continue the work of making the world a badder place.
Yeah, because the marketing aspects, and there's just rules and regulations on what you can and cannot do, which is why we've not overly hyped it much, because you can't do that. So that's why we said, okay, well, we need some things to sort of flow out and things need to happen before we can do other things. So that's kind of why we've been a little quiet on some of that stuff. But Badcoin is still rolling, rock and rolling. If you have any of the old Badcoin, you need to swap it out for the new Badcoin. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking sometime before the end of this year, maybe by October, we're going to kill the old chain on BitShares. So what's up, BitShares? You need to get your Badcoin swapped over. And we have been reached out to, Travis, by a couple exchanges that are interested in listing Badcoin as well. So once we have that's just the rumor right there. Well, that's actually true. We have been reached out to. Whether or not they follow through on it and list us, we can't make any promises about that. Your mileage may vary.
That is true. And just as a joke, the price of Badcoin has plummeted recently, which is great.
So we are succeeding in making the world a badder place.
That's true.
You missed that. I came up with that on the fly.
That's really good. Making the world a badder place. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to adopt that tagline and use that more. What do you guys think? We want your feedback. Mail us, badcryptopodcast@gmail.com, or get involved in one of the social platforms we're on. Of course, we're on Facebook with the Bad Crypto Mastermind, and it's a really vibrant community. They're so shiny there, and it's at badco.in/mastermind, or find us on Telegram or the Discords. And Mr. Travis Wright, take us out of here with a Turkish accent.
Wow, I do not know any Turkish accents, bro.
I know you're looking at me like a deer in the headlights.
What
Like,
the hell's a Turkish accent?
well, you should be like, stay bad.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Eat that turkey for Thanksgiving instead.
Stay bad.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.